On what scale or basis are we going to say that Wizkid is bigger than Fela? Fine, we're talking about commercial success, streams, fame. Wizkid is big on his own. Because during the era of Fela, that time, Fela was also big and he was not poor. So you cannot tell me Wizkid is bigger than Fela even in that aspect. Now, I am a very factual person and I love to work with facts. I don't like to speak with emotions because when conversation like this happen, it is very rare for you not to want to defend this with emotion. But we don't need emotion in this matter. Let us talk with fact. If you go back to history, I want to drop my opinion on this using two angles. I'm going to use the cultural angle and I'm going to use the activism angle. Now, if you go back to history in the year 1977, Kalakuta Republic, yes I'm right, Kalakuta Republic was raided. Why was it raided? It was because of the activism of Fela, and that was not even the first time that Fela would be arrested. I read this very well in history that Fela was arrested more than 50 times. Yes, history never lies. Fela was arrested for more than 50 times. Why? Because he used his music as a weapon to speak for the masses. There was even this particular track of Fela. Is it Thief or what is the name of this track? Yeah, Fela was actually mentioning names of politicians. Like Fela was mentioning names of politicians in this particular track, and not just any politician, corrupt politician. I'm not going to mention anybody name, but just to tell you how great Fela was, and he will still be, because he's no longer nobody. He will still great, and he will still be great. So that's the activist side. Now, if you now want to check the cultural impact, Fela is the reason why African culture is part of the reason why African culture is accepted globally. And why did I say that is that Afro music is something that Fela pioneered. Everybody knows that. And apart from the fact that Fela pioneered this, even a lot of your favorite artists are still singing the same thing today. And it was Fela who brought this thing and who took it to the global market. It is not Wizkid. So all of us should be getting it right. That it was not Wizkid that made this music spread. Fela, as at the time when Fela sang that song that time, Fela used to travel to Egypt to do concerts. He traveled to Europe to do concerts. He traveled all across the world to do concerts. So a lot of people got to already know Afro when Fela was alive. So Fela is part of the reason why African culture is accepted, because Afro music or Afrobeat is a song that reflects African culture so much. In the sense that even when you watch some of them Fela video, you're going to see some girls on skirts putting on vintage dresses and those stuff. They project us unique, because even when you want to get this blend of Afro is a blend of jazz, alive, and all of those things. So it doesn't give you Western vibe. When you are a typical African person, when you listen to Afrobeat, you're going to feel it like, yes, there's so much energy here. So this is African. So Fela impacts our culture, because it's part of the reason why a lot of people get to know about African music. And if you're talking about African music, you cannot remove Afrobeat. Afrobeat is, maybe you say the number one. I don't know for any other country, even in Africa, because when you even get to hear about Africa, the first thing that is going to come to their mind when you talk about music is Afro. These are facts. These are facts. Like I said, I'm not going to talk based on emotion, but I'm going to talk based on facts. Recently, Fela was given a lifetime award. This award, it was given by Grammy. This award can only belong to legend. Just like the same way Michael Jackson is no more, but we are still celebrating Michael Jackson. Same thing goes to Fela. Fela is the Michael Jackson of Africa when it comes to music. That is it on that. Then apart from that, if you take some of the things that some of your favorite artists are doing, including Wizkid, Fela started it. All these of in short, if you watch some of the videos and live performance of Fela is not always putting on shirt. And when Fela sometimes sing on the stage, he try to like engage his audience. We call that one call and response music. There's this particular song said, Ayakata. The audience replied, Ayokoto. That's some kind of call and response. Your favorite artist, I'm not going to mention it, they do that too. Fela started it. Now all this say yeah. Now it is now say yeah. One of those stuffs, Fela started it. I used to say Fela is not a boring person during his lifetime. When he sings, you are not going to sleep in his concert because there's so much energy through the year. Like I said, I am a student of history, and when I talk, I want to talk a fact. I don't like using emotion because emotion doesn't really solve this case. So if you look at this, using the cultural lens and the activism lens, Fela is greater than Wizkid. Even apart from that, how can somebody who took something from me be greater than me who won that thing? Fela is the creator of this part that Wizkid is trekking. So what are we saying? Honestly, I'm going to say both. And the reason I'm going to say both is that fame is a thing of the moment actually. But impact is a thing of eternal. What I mean by this is that during the time of Fela was actually famous. A lot of people that time they know Fela. Even across, not only in Nigeria, across Africa, across Europe, across America, everywhere in the world, Fela was known, it was well celebrated. But at the same time, also, we are still talking about him. That is impact. It is because when he was alive, we get to know him, that's fame. When he's no more, we are still shouting his name. Even our unborn kid are still going to mention Fela, in as much as Afrobeat is still alive and it still continue to be alive because Afro is our heritage. We are still going to. So, Wizkid, after today, how many people are still going to remember him? You are not going to tell me what the rhyming is that. Can you even give me one evergreen song that Wizkid has produced? Like, just tell me one evergreen song that after he's no longer singing, we are still going to keep singing it. No. Even it is so hard for people to believe that this woman that sang Odun Nlo Sopin, Mama Fasoyin and the Says Women, they are more of a legend than Wizkid. Because that song will continue to sing it everywhere if you have to look at this very well. And I'm even going to say that this Fela alone is more of a legend than Wizkid because these women they have sung songs that are evergreen. I'm just trying to say that although they are in a different world entirely, but when we want to mention greatness, we are not going to just check. We are both singing, right? We are not just going to check how you are celebrated at the moment. What we are really going to check is that after you are no more to do, are we still going to remember your name? And even when we remember your name, what are we really going to remember you for? That is what makes you great. So, in as much as you need great fame and impact to be a great person as an artist, but at the same time, I'm going to say that someone can be great without being famous. But you see that impact, it is really, really important because you can be famous and not great, and you can't be great unless you have made impact. I hope the reasonable one are going to really understand me. I want to mention a lot of your favorite artists that are famous, but they don't have impact. So therefore, I will not count them as a great artist. I don't mean to disrespect anyone, but this is just the truth, and we just have to say it. Because if you don't say it, who else is going to say it? So whenever you want to talk about this argument, I don't want to ever say Wizkid versus Fela argument again because Fela is not a human being. Fela, Wizkid is just a boy. Thank you.